over to you, Matt.
Thanks very much. Today I'm going to talk about five main issues. Briefly, our new department, the nature of the challenge in the circular economy, our own national waste policy, the new circular economy package that's been proposed, and also just two priority areas that we're currently working on, just to update you. The newly configured department, as you've heard, has got quite a long name and has a broad and ranging and highly diverse portfolio. Some might say that it contains conflicting policy objectives, but the department is charged with developing national positions and leading and driving change in areas such as climate change, energy, telecommunications, broadband, geological, mineral and petroleum development, all at the same time. This creates a natural tension and forces a tendency now that we have to address or reconcile or integrate these issues. I think it's a bit early to say whether or not or how successful we have been at this stage, but still I think it's a useful new way of looking at our policy by embracing these issues. It gives us insights in terms of the price and the value that society and our citizens place on resources and the environment. The government has endorsed an inclusive approach to sustainable development, and ultimately that is the litmus test for our policy making, regardless of the specific nature of the area. So I think the circular economy is a particularly valuable prism for us to have a new opportunity to see how we reconcile what were previously considered opposite forces between the environment and the economy on one hand. So just briefly then turning to a few thoughts on the nature of the challenge of the circular economy. So I'm becoming relatively new into the sector. I suppose, what is the future for Ireland's economy and society if we just continue to exist in a linear system using the resources the way we are? And I suppose earlier on I could hear the school next door and the children in the playground. If you think about it, by the time they retire, they could face ice-free Arctic summers. Earlier than that, by the time they're raising their own children, we could have a situation where there's more plastic in the oceans than fish. And even today, it's surprising that almost 190,000 plastic bags are used in Europe every minute. So there's challenges there, but this can be changed. But it really does require a truly transformational change from linear to a circular economy. Now I can remember when I was young that we used to throw away aluminium cans, but now we don't do that. So we have changed our behavior. But creating the value of trash, creating a value in trash, involves managerial and organizational challenges, a technological challenge, and a financial challenge. All levels of governance will be affected. In the public space, national governments and local governments must act, but in the private sector as well, shareholder value and incentivization systems need to be redefined. Ultimately, all stakeholders, social, environmental, political, and economic, must play a role. There is a question I think we have to ask on whether such a transformational change can be achieved. We will not be able to do it with just facts, good ideas, and rational debate. In the 21st century, it is necessary to show and demonstrate the opportunities and benefits and gains that are available if we are to convince our citizens and the people who will deliver the behavioural change to act in a way to reduce resource inefficiency. I want to turn now to the national waste policy. In Ireland, you're probably very familiar with our existing policy, our resource opportunity from 2012. The waste hierarchy is at its core, and that policy remains entirely relevant to the circular economy. While some aspects will need refreshing, updating, the fundamental direction of travel remains sound. And I think we anticipate that with the negotiations of the package, that will be an opportunity again to have a look at the policy and to refresh it. I think that we have to give credit to the authors of the resource opportunity document. The implementation of that policy has performed well in delivering our EU waste targets. To date, we have met them all, 100% of them. But the policy is also enduring. We have laid a good foundation for future, more ambitious targets and more systemic change. We have introduced new structures for regional waste management and waste enforcement in partnership with our local government authorities. These resources are ensuring that we have a practical, on-the-ground follow-through of national policy. The regional waste management plans were developed in 2014, as many of you will know, and they set out the policies and the plans that will help achieve a transition to a circular economy. And our enforcement resources are working to ensure not just the protection of the environment, but that the polluter pays and that the waste operators and the industry can enjoy a fair and equitable playing field that gives them the investment security and operational certainty. In addition, and also the National Waste Prevention Programme, which was established long ago in 2004, is managed by the EPA and funded by my department. It's safe to say that the programme was ahead of its time, and it has often been cited to me in Brussels as delivering best-in-class performance, and it continues to support many of our circular economy. It has supported many of our circular economy frontrunners. So this just brings me now to the most current topic of debate, the circular economy package, and just some thoughts on its implementation from a national administration's perspective. First of all, you're aware that the legislative package involves a revision of a number of waste-related directives, and Paola has outlined some of them. The targets and other measures included are intended to force and drive sustainable production and consumption patterns behaviour. That's the rationale behind it. We mustn't lose sight of the rationale and just consider about discussion about the targets. We don't know what those specific targets will ultimately be, as Paola outlined. Negotiations are continuing at the Council, and Member States have expressed different views on ambition. From the Commission's perspective, the Parliament has also expressed its views on ambition, and we will enter a negotiation process to come to an agreement. It is fair to say that these will be difficult negotiations. I'm hopeful that by the end of the year we will have an agreement in place, and that with the full finalisation of those directives, we would then have 2 years from early 2018 to transpose and implement them. The end result, though, after we've done the paperwork, is going to be challenging for Ireland to deliver. However, we have come a long way. In 1992, we used to recycle 7% of our waste. Now we recycle 40%. We used to have 120 landfills in Ireland. Now we have 6. And we had no composting or anaerobic digestion, and today we have 34 commercial facilities operation. So we remain on track, but we will continue to work towards improved segregation of waste and reduction of waste by householders. That will deliver higher quantities and quality of recyclable waste. Education and awareness is key. Many of you will have heard of our Back to Basics advertising campaign, which has been run by the regional authorities. And it's raising the profile of the brown bin and the potential for reducing food waste. More effective and more extensive use of brown bin will also help us deliver on the challenging landfill targets going forward. We don't always, and we won't always enjoy a smooth path to the implementation of such initiatives, but with consultation and involvement of the right stakeholders, we can increase our chances of success. Secondly, the broader action plan has a number of initiatives of interest and relevance to Ireland. But the action plan relates to policy across the entire spread of government, and that's an important feature. Jobs, enterprise and innovation, agriculture, food and marine, housing, planning and local government, and public expenditure and reform are just some of those with direct interests in the action plan. So one of my challenges and challenges for this department is to develop a network and a coalition of government departments and agencies to collaborate on the circular economy so that Ireland can take full advantage of the economic and environment benefits. I think we can learn from the European Commission in the same way that the circular economy package is a joint initiative of DG Environment and DG Grow. We should mirror the engagement between our public sector to ensure that resources are adequately primed. Events like today provide us with an opportunity to highlight the benefits and also to forge those links with a variety of stakeholders. Finally, I just mentioned I'd like to just outline 2 initiatives that we're focusing on very recently. My minister is charged with overseeing Ireland's implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals, and he has a keen personal interest and has made food waste prevention and green public procurement priorities in his term. In recent weeks, the Minister has supported the EPA's Food Waste Initiative. He launched the National Food Waste Charter, the second Food Waste Forum, An action group on food waste in the retail sector has been established, and that's getting up and running now, and it involves practically all the major retailers in Ireland. He's endorsed further engagement between DAFM and Board BIA, with DAFM and Board BIA, to pursue a higher focus on food waste prevention through the flagship Origin Green initiative. And finally, he's extended financial support to the EPA's Stop Waste initiative. The other initiative I want to mention is green public procurement. Just this week, the department has hosted a series of meetings over 3 days on this topic. A range of meetings were hosted on that. The circular economy package is clearly critical to the momentum of all GPP progress. From our discussions even this week, it's clear that public procurement, some 12% of GDP typically in Europe, has the potential to be a key lever and to move the market. So it's an area that we must use to trigger movement at the commercial side and provide the right signals into the business sector. This is a message that is repeated at almost every forum on the circular economy. And the Commission itself is progressing its promise on the action plan to promote the adoption of GPP in member states. It has published new green criteria to support public procurers in 21 categories of products and services. So now public procurers can specify these new criteria and help shape the future market. But implementation is not straightforward. Although we have a national action plan, green tenders, since 2012, and despite the production of detailed guidance by the EPA in 2014, adoption of GDP is slow in Ireland. We are not very different from many countries, though, that has to be said. But we are working towards activating GDP now by concentrating on building networks with the right personnel at national, regional and local level. Having listened to the member states over the last few days, it's clear that the human factor is key to delivering change in this space, and it takes time and resources to achieve that. We are actively participating in the Interreg Europe project GPP for Growth, and we hope that we can use this as a vehicle to mobilise GPP in our public procurement sector. Over the coming 3 years, we'll be required to conduct a series of regional seminars for procurement practitioners to spread and embed GPP, the message. So one of our first tasks will be to compile a list of stakeholders. So if people are interested in getting involved, do let us know. So in conclusion, I'd like to thank NESC for the opportunity to speak at today's workshop. It is a particularly timely discussion, and I hope it is informative for you. The fundamental nature of the change to a circular economy is truly striking. I think we have made a good foundation and that we can build on that. And by taking a cross-departmental approach and engaging our stakeholders, we will be able to see the benefits of improved economic efficiency, employment gains and opportunities, as well as sustainable development. Thank you.